We use a methodology for teaching here that's based partly in dialogue, which is Janet's expertise, and partly in design, which is my expertise. I would define design as a change process that turns strategic thinking into action on the ground.
And I'd probably define dialogue as learning how to slow down, learning how to listen to others. And what I always say to the students is the dialogue circle allows you to see yourself. And so there's a lot of self-awareness that happens in the classroom. And when you work in teams, you need self-awareness. So there's no way to get an idea on the ground by yourself. Ideas take groups to happen, and that's a big lesson at CityStudio, is how to slow down, actually hear one another, hear what the community is saying, hear what the city staff wants, and work together to do that. So dialogue becomes a key point. And I think what's interesting about adding design is that there's a clear process for how to take an idea into an action, and adding dialogue to the mix slows that design process down. I think what we've created at CityStudio is a place that's in between. It's in between the university and the city, and for students it's outside of the typical classrooms, and for us as faculty it's also outside, and it allows for this space for possibility. So we start to imagine other ways of thinking, other ways of being that are outside our typical institutional boundaries, and that's different.
And I would add that the key to any project or the work that we do here is putting a shared concern in the center of the room, and then finding a way to look at the shared concern in a way that helps us all understand what the others are thinking about it, what values we're bringing to it, what assumptions we bring to the shared concern. And once that the understanding of the shared concern is brought to some kind of surface, it's at that point that you can start to figure out what the right questions are that might lead to design action on the ground. But then when you started to design and you have some action on the ground, or you have some proposals or some prototypes, you have to then return to the discussion, the dialogue, to see where you're at and to check in around the movement that you've done or the actions that you've undertaken, which then in turn lead to another round of refinement and action on the ground. So it's this constant cycling between reflection and dialogue and action through design, and then reflection and dialogue and action through design. And we often say that this process is difficult, it requires a lot of work, it slows things down, but it creates for more whole projects. But in the end, it polishes through the friction of this the difficulty and the challenge of taking the time to reflect and then moving forward with confident reflection into action.